Hi everyone, Mark here from Rosie Outdoors. A while ago, a few weeks ago, I did a video of gear updates for 2020. In that video I talked about some of the gear that I've been using in previous year that I wasn't very happy with for various reasons, and I was either going to completely replace or maybe get something in addition that was going to be better for me. So I said then that I'd do another video where I'd show you what I'd got to replace stuff and to add to stuff. Well, that's this video. If you're interested in seeing that, then stay tuned. So the first thing that I talked about was a water bottle that I've got, which is a plastic water bottle, which has been fine, but I said I wanted to replace it with something else, and I said mysteriously something that's not just useful for carrying water. So what I've replaced it with is this, which is metal. It's slightly bigger capacity, I guess it's a litre, looks like a litre, but and it's got a decent lid on it. It hasn't got the you have to open the lid to drink from it if you want to drink from it. But why I really wanted one of these metal ones is because if you can see it's not as shiny as it could be. That's because I've used it to heat water up, and this is I really think this is quite a useful thing. So you can actually use it to boil water as well. You can take I wouldn't want to do it with this thing on here, but this comes off. So you can just pull it off like that. There you go. So yeah, so you've probably seen in some of my videos me actually, in fact, yeah, there was one where I actually was cooking on the twig stove, the Firebox Nano twig stove, and I boiled water in this. Done that a couple of times. Works really well. So most of the time you probably wouldn't want to do that, but I like the idea of it, because if you were say you didn't have a source of water that you could trust, so you wanted to boil it to sterilise it, this is just perfect for that, because basically you could fill it up with water, you could boil it off, so you're happy with it, and then just let it cool down, and jobs are good. So yeah, so I like this. I mean, I guess it's marginally heavier than the plastic. I mean, it's not really heavy, but yeah, bigger capacity, and you can actually boil water in it. So that's number one. Okay, number two. So if you watched my previous video where I was talking about the stuff that I was going to replace, or was going to find something to go with it, then the thing that I definitely said, in fact the only one of them I think where I definitely said I would totally replace it, was the spork. So if you watch that video, you'll see why I was annoyed with the spork. Yeah, primarily it's because it's basically got a a spoon at one end and a fork at the other end, and that isn't such a good idea as it sounds in various applications. So yeah, so what I've done is I've actually surprisingly bought another spork, but this one is a different style, where basically it's got a spoon and a fork at the same end. Much more sensible, because as I said in the other video, if you've got one at both ends, you've got a spoon at one end and a fork at the other end, then if that was the spoon, and once you've used the spoon and it's got food or something on it, you can't hold that end without having to wash up the spoon. So this is, to my mind, much better. So the one I've gone for, again, I've gone for titanium one, which is why it's a bit of a funny colour. At least I think that's why it's that colour, I don't know. But anyway, so I've gone for another titanium one, but yeah, so it's strong and it's light, but it works really well. And I used it, if you watch my the last walk and cook video I did, which was the one with the spam and the spicy spam, yeah, the spicy spam, I used it for that, and it was perfect, because you could do the stirring while you were doing the cooking, and then when you were spearing the spam, it worked really well. So actually I'm fine with that. I think one thing that I've sort of since thought is, obviously if you're having the old dehydrated meals, whether in the pouch, then yeah, this is probably a bit short for that. but that's not a problem for me at the moment. So yeah, so I've replaced the spork with a spork, but it's a much better spork, I think. So that's that one, number 2. So number 3 was a pan that I've got. It's called a Zebra lunchbox pan, which is a very useful pan. But the thing that if you watch that video, you'll see that I do like that pan a lot. But I find for just boiling water with it, sometimes it's a bit awkward, and it's awkward to pour. It doesn't feel very rigid when you're boiling water, and I did have some problems. I have had problems not being able to be very accurate with my pouring, which is not what you want, really, is it? So I thought, although I could, and I was surviving on just one pan, so it always meant I had to do the coffee first before cooking the food, because obviously once you've cooked the food, so I did think, time to invest in another sort of pot thing that I could rely on more and use for coffee. So what I got was one of these, so that won't be a surprise to most of you. It's I think it's got a capacity of 750 millilitres, something like that. It's got graded. It's got the different volumes of liquid marked on the inside, which is quite good. And actually, what do you call it? I don't know. They're sort of in the metal, but not transfer, so that'll last forever. Comes with a lid with some holes, if you can see that, for when you're boiling water, and all that. It's got a handle on it. So it's also got, like they all do, I suppose, it's got the handle here, which surprisingly that does get it away from the heat enough so that you can, so far anyway, I've been able to take it off, certainly on the alcohol stove. I don't think I've tried this on the twig stove yet, but I've used it on the alcohol stove. That must have been in my last video as well, in the walk and cook video with the Spam, I think. Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, and it's fine. And then, the alcohol stove, I had it on full flare up, as they do, without the simmering on, and it was fine, not at all. And I think, this one definitely goes out quite a way. I'm not sure they all do, and it's rigid. It doesn't flop around. The other thing I liked about this one is it's got this bail thing on it, which again it sits wherever you put it. It doesn't get in the way. But I haven't used it for this yet. But obviously you can use that for hanging over a fire, which I think is cool again. But I haven't used it for that, like I say, but I think it's good. So this one I've gone for. It wasn't the cheapest one. It's actually from TBS, which is the Bushcraft Store. I bought it online. I can't remember the price. I'll put the price on the screen now. It was about half the price of this one's steel. It was about half the price of the titanium version. But obviously the titanium one would be lighter. But the reason I like this one is because it's actually very, very strong. Which is so easy when you're wandering around like an idiot, in a camp setting, to especially when it's dark, to tread on things. And some of the others, they're quite. They're not such sort of heavy grade steel as this. So yeah, I kind of liked it. It was strong. So probably not the cheapest, but not the most expensive either. But yeah, it's cool. And I say I have used it. Oh, and it pours. Get out of the way. It pours so well. It just doesn't go anywhere. I really think that's good. Obviously, it for packing away, it fits inside. Or rather the other way around, the water thing fits inside it, so that it doesn't take up any more room in my pack from what I was already doing when I was putting the water thing in. So that's cool. So there you go, that's number 3. So those of you who watched closely in my video will know that there was one other thing in there actually, which was the what's it called? The wind protection unit. Windshield, I say. Yeah. But I'm not replacing that, I'm keeping it, I'm just using it for something different. So anyway, in this video, because I've bought some other stuff in the meantime, there's a few bonuses in here which I didn't talk about before because I didn't know it was a problem. So number 1 is this. So my last video that I've done recently, I was asking people what they thought about what to do with a tarp when you're putting it away, whether you should carefully fold it up and roll it, which is how it comes when you first buy them, and put it in the stuff sack it comes with, or whether you should just stuff it in and not fold it up and roll it. And the idea was that it's better for the tarp to stuff it, because if you're folding it and rolling it in the same way each time, then you could create weak points. But I came to the conclusion that I had some problems trying to stuff it, because the stuff sack that my tarp came with was basically very tight fit. So anyway, so what I bought is, look at that, it's huge. I could almost, no, maybe not, but yeah, it's big. So I think this is 6 litres or something like that, and it comes with some compression straps as well. So there you go. That's what it looks like, empty and fully stuffed, as it were. Yeah, so it's got these compression straps, which is pretty good. I mean, this was £7.50, so this is not too expensive. There was a lot more money than that, and there's room in there, so I could definitely get more stuff in there. Look. So that's cool. The only thing I don't think is so good is it's just got a drawstring thing at the top, so it doesn't seal down that way or compress from that end. But that's okay. £7.50, I'm happy with that. And it's made from like waterproof stuff, so I'll be able to strap this to the outside of my pack, so that's good. So that was a good bonus getting that one. Oh, and one other thing, of course, is that, as you know, I haven't got a DD tarp. I've got a cheap copy, I'm sure they would call it. But look, oh look, everybody thinks I've got a DD tarp now. Well, until I get it out of the bag anyway. Okay. So one more thing. This is the last one, I promise. So this thing, I actually liked these things so much, I'm actually wearing them now. You see, you don't get that on other outdoor channels, do you? What a mover. Yeah, so it's the socks, right? So when I did the fondue video where I was cooking cheese fondue on the Firebox Nano, actually cooking it on wood, which was amazing. It's good fun. You should watch that. It came out so nice. It's lovely. Definitely have to do that again. But anyway, so I did that video, and I actually did that in my garden, at the bottom of my garden. I didn't go for a walk and then do the cooking, and the reason for that was that basically I had a very big blister on my big toe. Sorry, not on my big toe, on my small toe, my little toe, which I'd got from the previous walk that I did. So I thought, it's obviously, I need to do something about this. It's either the boots or the socks, and I think my boots are pretty good. So I decided to buy some more socks, which is what you saw me modelling just then, which is these things here. Sorry, they're a bit dirty. This is a brand called, you see that, 1,000 Mile? Yeah, 1,000 Mile socks. The significance of the 1,000 Mile is that they guarantee that you can walk 1,000 miles in them without getting a blister, which is amazing. And so they're not just like ordinary socks. They're kind of double layer. If I show you inside, you see they've got this sort of layer inside. So they're almost like wearing 2 pairs of socks, I suppose. They've got other features, like there's different models of these socks, if you like. This one, they've got sort of strengthening here, which is where your ankle goes. They've got things in the toe as well, and they come in all different sizes. So this red colour here is to do with the width here. So they're designed to have a size that's going to fit you. So there's men and women's ones, and something that's going to fit everybody. That's the idea of it. These ones come up quite high here as well. So I wore them on my last walking trip, and they were fine. And I mean, the blister hadn't. My toe was still a little bit painful before I set out, but it didn't cause any problems at all. It was very comfortable. So so I recommend them. I mean, the only thing I did find was that my left foot, I think my left foot must be slightly smaller because the socks started to slip down. I seem to remember when I had a pair of these a long time ago, I had the same problem. But I found that if I just rolled the top down a little bit, that was enough to give it more grip, so it didn't happen again for the rest of the walk. So it was really good. So yeah, 1,000 mile socks, definitely recommend them. Okay, so that's a lot. I'll put links down in the description so you can have a look at them yourself if you're interested in finding out a bit more about the things I've talked about. Okay guys, so this is the point in the video that if you've enjoyed what I've done, then please give me a thumbs up. If you want to carry on following me and see some more, then obviously go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ding the bell. I've got a lot of ideas for trips for this year. I'm going to be doing some more walking in various places. I'm just really waiting for the weather to get a little bit better. Yeah, so take care everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.